Hi, how are you? Trying to see if my lighting is good. So I started a little bit earlier. I want to make sure my lighting is good. Oh, let me turn this off. Let's play with lights a little bit. Let's see how that looks. All right, I'll leave that light on. It's a little yellow. All right, I'm gonna get started. I don't want to make it too big. I guess it's just me and you, kid. Yeah, this is perfect. We'll just go ahead and attach it to the stick. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be making a um, a bear out of modeling chocolate. So thanks for joining. My name is Gigi. For those of you who don't know me, I am a sugar and cake artist. I am originally from New Orleans. I am now located in Atlanta. I have started going live over here um, on YouTube on Saturdays at 12 Eastern Standard Time. And I go live on TikTok on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're not subscribed already, I'd love for you to subscribe and hang out with me. Oh, there's a big bee that's tapping on my window. I'm self-taught. I've been doing this for 15 years next month, actually. I have to remember that so I can do something special. I don't normally do anything special, but this year I'm going to do something special. But thanks for joining me in my studio as we work on our little bear. Let's do his little arms, and then we'll start giving him some fur. This is normally pretty cool and laid back. So I hope y'all enjoy it. Welcome. This is satin ice modeling chocolate too. Need a little bit more for these arms. Let's see. See where we want to put these arms. Hi. Is it Mask Lady? How are you? Thanks for joining. This is modeling chocolate. You don't really want to mess with it too much because it's chocolate, so it will get soft on you. I'm just trying to figure out where I want these arms to be. Let's kick his legs out a little bit. I try not to do too much out of modeling chocolate just because it can be a little difficult to deal with. But we're going to roll with it today. Let me get something else. I'm going to give him some fur. Get another tool. See. If I can find the one I'm actually looking for. It's okay. I'll use this. I don't think I like this arm. Let's see. Let's start over again. Let's fix his leg where I messed it up. I'm going to open his legs up just a little bit. All right, let's try this again. Because I definitely did not like that leg. We get some more, and I'm gonna let this piece that I was working on kind of sit a little. So thanks so much for joining me. I'm gonna make sure y'all get a good view. What I think I might do is I'm gonna let these pieces of Marlin chocolate sit out and dry out a little bit, and I'm gonna go in and put in some of the little details that I want to add. I use a combination of fondant tools, and then I also use clay tools. So I'm gonna just go in and give him some little fur. I don't know if I want to do this kind of fur or if I want to use my tool. I have this other tool, this one right here, that does like a different type of fur. I think I want to use this one. It'll make it look like that. So let's do that one. I'm gonna put in some fur. Before I actually put the arms on. This particular tool is a clay tool. You can achieve this same look if you put some toothpicks together. You all see that? Can y'all hear me? And this little bear isn't for anything. It's more for my therapy and just to continue to practice my skill. The more you do things, you know, the better you get. Let me see if I can hear myself. Hold on. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. I don't hear anything. Let me take off this microphone. There we go. I think I'm gonna just take these off of his feet, and I think I'm gonna make his feet myself. But I might not, I'll see. Let's just finish adding the fur. Give him a little tail. Just adding a little water so his tail will stick. I just added a little water. Just so that it'll stick. Thank y'all for hanging out with me as I try and not try as I grow my YouTube channel. It's my plan to go live on Saturdays at 12. Probably start testing out a couple of different times. Maybe Sunday at 6 in the evening. So I'm going to test a couple of times to see what works best for my particular audience. And again, I do go live on TikTok, but I'm trying to grow my presence here. So thank you all for staying and hanging out with me. And this is Satin Ice Marlin chocolate. I took the dark brown and I mixed a little, I mixed equal parts brown. Well, it wasn't equal parts. It was like 2 parts white Marlin chocolate to like 1 part dark chocolate, Marlin chocolate, to get this color. We're gonna give him some little feet. I'm going to give him some little feet. We took them off so that we can add this. I'm going to put them back in 1 second. There's literally a huge bumblebee knocking up against my studio window. I guess he's trying to get in. All right, so let's do his feet, these. Give him some little feet. That's what we're making. I'm gonna give him some little foot pads. All right, let's put a little pink on his little foot pads, and then I'll add the fur. Let's see. I'm looking for my light pink. Now this is gonna be fondant. Let's see, we might want the dark. You know what? Let me use a little dark and a little light. But everything that I'm using is satin ice. Satin ice fondant, satin ice marble chocolate. Let's use a little dark pink too. I don't know why my dark pink is so sticky. All right, we're gonna combine those two together. I'm gonna combine my dark pink and my light pink to make his little pieces for his feet. I need to add just a little cornstarch because the dark pink was a little sticky. And this is just cornstarch that I'm adding to it. All right, let me get my cutters because we're going to cut these little foot pads out. Let's see what size circles we need. Probably, we could go a little bit bigger. Let's see how this works out. Roll this out. Let's make sure this isn't too big. Yeah, it's a little big, so I'm gonna go with the next smallest size. That one was a little too big, and I'm just gonna press this one to make it a little bit bigger, but not as big as this one. All right, let's see how that is. This one is a little bit bigger than this one. Add just a little bit of water. Let me do it again. I think I pressed it out too big. Got a piece of black on there. Then we could put the little toes on. I'm gonna put this up because we don't need that anymore. Let me get something to get our thank y'all for sticking with me. All right, so these are the 3 little toe parts that are gonna go over this little part. I'll make this a little bit bigger. And we could put these on. Let's do the middle one first. And then we're gonna go in with our little thing and add some fur. I'm gonna bring these in a little bit so I don't damage the pink part. I do want to, like, right down here where you really don't see any fur, I do want to put a little fur underneath the bottom of his foot. So I'm going to add just a little. I'm going to add some fur down here. That's the one good thing about modeling chocolate. You can always add. Let me see. Okay. I'm not in love with it, but I'm going to keep it moving. Let's define his foot. All right. Let's do this other side. And I'm just adding like a little bit of water for the fondant pieces to stick to. And I like to pick mine up with a stick pin just because it's such a small space. It's just easy for me to do it that way. And I'm just kind of going around because when I cut it out, it left like a little lip around it. And it makes your circles not look clean. And I'm just picking these up with a stick pin. Because my fingers are too big for the little space. I am going to add a little bit more Marlin chocolate at the bottom of this. At the bottom. Right down here. Just because I want the foot to not look like it's sitting flat on the ground like that. I wanted the pink part to be a little bit up off the the little thing that is sitting on. So I just added a little bit more modeling chocolate to give me that little lift. And I'm gonna just take my time and go around, add that fur look in there, and try not to mess up my pink. And if you feel like, the one good thing about modeling chocolate, if you feel like, you know, it's not bulky enough, you can always add more modeling chocolate to give it more, you know, of a look. And you can also just kind of pull it out a little bit. And just giving it a little bit more of a realistic look. Like he's got like a little knee part. And again, if you lose any volume, you can always add whatever you need. And all I did was I'm kind of going through and giving him almost like a little knee look to the side of his leg. I don't know if it's coming across on the screen. But just to give his leg a little more definition. So he looks a little bit more realistic. All right, so I'm satisfied with that so far. I'm gonna start working on his head now. Just cleaning up my platform that he's sitting on. I like to work clean. So I'm gonna clean up my space a little bit. And then I'm gonna start on his head. Now, normally, I would just create the entire head out of fondant or gum paste or whatever I'm working with. But this time I'm gonna use a styrofoam ball to make his head. And I want his head to be much bigger than his body. I bought these balls in a pack. There's a bigger one too. This I might use this one, but they come with 2 different sizes. I think they actually come with 3 different sizes. 3 different size little styrofoam balls. I think I'm gonna use this one. I think I'm gonna use that one. Yeah, I think that's gonna be cute. And I'm gonna just go ahead and make a hole in it so that I don't have to deal with it once I get it up there. Let's see. Yeah. I think I want it to be a little bit further. Let's see. Yeah. So So I'm gonna use the styrofoam. Like I said, normally I will just make it from nothing, but this time I'm gonna use the styrofoam to make him, and I'm gonna I'm gonna pre-cover this before I actually put it on there. So I'm gonna just cover this with my Marlin chocolate. It's gonna look really crazy before it looks great. And again, thank y'all for sticking with me. Now, say for instance, if you needed to work on facial features or anything like that, and you want to keep it as round as you can always use one of these. This is actually a drying, something you dry flowers in, like fondant flowers or gum paste flowers. This helps to keep the roundness of the head. So if I needed to work on his facial features before I put it up there, I can use this to keep it round while I work on it. And I'm just gonna kind of get this going. And I am gonna put some water on this so that my Marlin chocolate sticks to it. Otherwise, it'll be all over the place. You can also use edible glue, but I'm just using water. And once I get my Marlin chocolate all over it, I'm gonna put it on top of the little the head, the body. And you just kind of have to work it around. And because this is Marlin chocolate, is very forgiving. You can always add more if you need it, or take it away if you don't. And really and truly, this does not have to be perfect because we're going to put fur on it anyway. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see if this is a good size for our little bear. If we need to come down, see, this is where it's not sticking to the foam. You just kind of have to work it a little bit and it'll settle down. Like this is an air pocket. You can just make a hole, let that air out. And because, again, this is modeling chocolate, it's very forgiving. So we can put this on top of our bear, or we can work on him, let it dry, and then add it to our body. A lot of different options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more modeling chocolate to this because I want to make the face, his little nose area, and I want that to protrude out a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit more modeling chocolate where I want his little face to be. And I'm just going to sit it right there. So I'm going to get a little bit more modeling chocolate. To add to the front of his face to make his little nose part. And it's going to look weird at first until I shape it into what I want it to be. It's going to look a little weird. And again, I'm not really concerned about it too much because I am going to be doing fur. And all of this will get worked into the fur. And I'm just using one of my little, this is a Innovative Sugarworks tool. Works really, really well. It works really, really well with the myelin chocolate. This is going to be my little face. And again, I'm not really concerned about having the myelin chocolate too perfect because we are going to be adding fur. All right, let's start working on the actual facial features. Let's get his little mouth together. Get the rest of my tools out because I don't know. Well, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to be using my Innovative Sugarworks tools, and I will probably be using some of these smaller clay tools as well. All of these have soft little silicone tips on them, and these are some of the tools I like to use when I'm doing my fondant stuff. But I do want to give him like a little bridge. So let's define a little bridge. And then we're going to push back what we don't need. Give it a little lift. Myelin chocolate is very forgiving. You can smooth it out with your hand. The warmth of your hand will take all of these little marks out. All right, let's start working on his little mouth. There's like a ridge right up here that I don't like a seam or something. All right, let's get the mouth worked out. So he's gonna have like the little part where his nose is gonna be. And then we want his little mouth, and I'm gonna work on it. I'm just roughing it in right now. It's gonna look something like that. And we can start taking our tools and going in and defining what our mouth is gonna look like. Now I may not finish this today. Let me get the shape of the mouth that I want. this to be in a little bit. You just gotta take your time with sculpting these faces. And because I'm using modeling chocolate, you can work and rework it as much as you need to. I'm trying not to rush the process. And again, if you're just joining, this is satin ice modeling chocolate. I just want to take some of the bulk of his mouth away, so I'm just pushing it down. You can even cut it off if you want to, but I'm gonna just push it down, and we'll blend it in when we get ready to do the fur. So if you find that it's too bulky, you can just take some of this away. And I feel like it's a little too bulky, so I'm gonna add that extra into the face. Just add that into the face. Go back and let me pull back a little bit. It's just like doing clay. Let's get his little mouth back. This is modeling chocolate. So this is an edible medium. Attempting to make the little mouth that I like. And you'll see me use all kind of tools. I kind of switch back and forth between stuff. To get what I need. Hi, Nadine. I don't normally take this long to do a figure. But I do tend to make my figures out of a combination of gum paste and fondant. I don't normally use modeling chocolate just because it's so slinky, like it's so temperamental. I'm gonna take some of the bulk out of his face. I don't want you to freak out. It's gonna be fine. It's just a little too bulky. So I'm just gonna take that off and then redo his little mug. It just felt like it was sticking out too far. Don't freak out though. All of this just gets blended in. gonna look weird for a little while. So I don't really know what I want the mouth to look like, so it might take me a minute to get whatever shape I think I have in my mind. And I'm just pushing back what I don't want and smoothing out the modeling chocolate, which it will smooth. As you can see, modeling chocolate is very forgiving. I just felt like his nose is a little too big for me. Let me move back a little so y'all can kind of see what I'm doing. All right, now he looks better. He doesn't have that big old nose. Just smooth out some of this side part. And I feel like his little lip is a little big, so I'm going to pinch some of his lip off too. Don't freak out. It's going to be fine. We're just going to rebuild the lip, but we don't want his face to be too big. All right, let's get it together. Oops, sorry. All right, let's get it back together. I don't want to stress y'all. I think I'm satisfied with this size. All right, let's get his little bottom lip together. It's a process. That's much better. That's much better, little friend. All right, now let's work on his nose again. All right, we want to make his nose a little rounded. We want to round it off a little. And then I'm just pushing it back down. Uh-oh, sorry, lip. All right, we're gonna give him the little tip of his nose. Just trying to give him a little bit of a smile, and I'll show y'all. We definitely want his nose to be rounded. And we'll deal with the mouth a little bit more. All right, let's get his nose on. And then we'll put him on his head. We actually could put him on his head now. Oh, now put him on his head. Put his head on his body. So this is where we are. I know he looks weird, but keep in mind he's gonna have fur. So let's do his nose. Let's give him a black nose. Oh, this ain't the black. Oh, y'all can't see his head. Get that in frame. And I'm going to give him a black nose. And we're going to do his eyes. So this black is actually, this is gum paste. Let me work a little bit more on his face, smoothing it out. All right, I think we could put him on his body. Let's give him his little nose. We're gonna put his nose right here, but I'm gonna give it somewhere to land. Otherwise, it'll just fall right on off of there. Right, and we can give him his eyes. Let's give him his eyes. I'm gonna start small on his eyes. And you're gonna see the white from the foam. Let's do his other eye. And again, if you feel like you need any more bulk or is too bulky, you can always take out and add in. I'm just gonna shape his little eyes. He's gonna probably look weird before he looks normal. Like I said, you can always add a little bulk. I'm gonna open his eyes up a little bit more toward the side. I want him to have big eyes. I'm gonna do this one. So this is where we are with his little eyes. I'm gonna start putting some of his fur on his head so he don't look so weird and creepy. Let's do some of his fur on his head. At least down here, we can do some down here. And Marlin chocolate will stay workable for a very long time. And like I said, if you feel like you don't have enough bulk, you can always add more to give your character or whatever you're making more bulk. And again, if you're just joining, the tool that I'm using to make his fur is actually it's actually a, what am I saying? It's a, why am I not coming up with my words? It's for clay is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to add a little bit more on the neck. I'm just going to add a little bit more on the neck part. I'm planning on putting a bow tie on him, so. Okay. So this is a clay tool that I'm actually using to make the fur look. I am like picking up the fur. I mean, not the fur, but the modeling chocolate. I'm kind of picking up on it a little bit. And I think I might want to add a little bulk in his cheek area just to make his face a little bit fuller. I'm going to show you how to do that. I won't go through and do the whole face with the fur part just because it's going to take forever. And I want to try and at least get his eyes in. Put a little around his eyes. All right. Let's open these eyes up again, and we can always adjust once we get them in the socket. I want him to have big eyes. So let's open that back up again, and let's start building his eyes out. All right, let's give him some eyes. Let's get some white. I could use the white modeling chocolate. I'm not though. I'm going to use white gum paste to make the eyes. You could also use white fondant. I'm just using white gum paste because that's what I got available. Kind of pull some of that bulk away until we actually get the eyes in there, and then we could mess with it a little bit more. All right, let's get the eyes in. Thank y'all so much again for joining. Hi. Think I'm gonna give him some little cheekies, but let's get his eyes in first. All right, let's see how much we need. Oh, I got brown in the eye. All right, let's get another piece. All right. Oh, I keep getting brown in the eye. I have brown on my hands. Let me clean my hands. That's the only thing about working with colors in white. You have to make sure you get everything off your hands. And when you think you got it all, you don't. All right, let's see now. I want a little bit less than that. I'm rolling it in a ball, and then I'm kind of pressing it out prematurely prior to putting it in. Then I'm going to go in with my little, and I can always add a little bulk around the eye if I need to. So I'm rolling it into a ball, and then I'm just pressing it out a little bit. Now let me roll this one again. Let me move this back a little bit. I think I need a little bit more. And I'm just gonna press it out a little bit. Well, I need it a little bit less. And I'm going to add a little bit more volume around the eye once I get the black part in. The blue and the black. So let's make some space. Because we want to give him I guess we could give him a blue eye. And we'll add a little bulk around the eyes once we. Let's push his nose up a little bit. All right, let's just give him a blue eye. Let's give him a blue eye. Now I am gonna cut the next part out, I think. Let me see if I can get my blue finder back in here. You don't need any more of this white right now. Let's do his blue eye, and I'm gonna cut it out. I'm gonna cut the blue and the black part out. So let's see. I think I want the blue to be a little bit bigger, but I'm gonna use this cutter. I'm gonna put a little bit of cornstarch on here so it don't stick in my cutter. All right, so this is our blue. Well, we're gonna press this out a little bit because we want the blue to cover the majority of that white. So let's see if we accomplish that. Or if I made it too big. I think I did good. Let's do this other one. Let's add some water to hold it on there. And then we'll add some more around his eyes to make it not so weird. We'll add some more brown around it. And I'm going to show y'all how we can fix his eyes to make them not so like they're bulging out. All right, let's do the black part. And then we'll start building his eyes out. I'm going to do the black. And again, all of this is set nice. All of it. They always look weird before they start looking better. All right, so let's roll out our black. And I'm thinking, no, this is probably too big. Let's go with this one. And we can always press it out and make it a little bit bigger if we need to. So let's see how the black looks. And like I said, we'll add some more bulk. We need the black to be a little bit bigger. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh, I messed it up. I kind of messed it up a little bit, but that's okay. Let's see. All right, let's put a little water. But let me see one more. Let me see with this other one. I might need to cut these out again because they're not actually round. And that's not good. Definitely want it a little bit bigger. You want it to not cover all the blue. Okay. And then once everything dries, I'll go in and add a little we're gonna add a little around his eyes so they don't look so weird. And I'm gonna show y'all how I'm gonna do that. And you know, sometimes I make these things and I don't like them, and I start all over again. I'm trying to make them as even as possible. All right, so let's add a little more modeling chocolate around both eyes so they kind of sit back in his face a little bit. And I'm just gonna roll out some little snake-like things, little ropes. And I'm just gonna add it around his eyes to add a little bit of bulk. Just add it on around there. It's gonna look weird at first until I blend it all in. But I want him to have a little bit more bulk around his eyes. I know it looks weird. Just bear with me. Haha, bear with me. Bear with me. You're gonna give it a little bit more bulk so it doesn't look so I think I got a little blue in that one. All right, don't be weirded out yet. I'm gonna fix him. And I'm gonna put a little bit more in this middle part too, because we want a little bit more bulk in here. All right, let's do his other eye. He looks like a monster. He looks like a monster right now. Let's add a little bit around the other eye. This is how you build an eye socket. Bring this on around. All right, let's get it all meshed in. You're gonna have some fallout from the modeling chocolate, but that's all right. Just keep you a little brush and you can just get rid of whatever mistakes you make. I'm gonna put a little water behind it so it sticks. And it's not jumping off. It's jumping off. Come on now, friend. The struggle is real. Ain't that nothing? Let's put another little piece right here. And the only thing I want to do is pull back so the white part is showing a little bit. All right, so let's do this other weird eye. Let's glue it down a little. So it's not hopping off his face. And you're gonna lose a little. It's gonna be like crummy. And you want to be very careful in these smaller spaces. Come on, friend. Let's give him his white part of his eyes. Let's give him his white part right quick. Let's get that out the way. And then we can continue on making his little face. The white part is always the best part. The little white gleam. Let's do that. All right, I'm gonna have to make them because I don't have a and I'm just gonna roll it between my index finger and my thumb and make a little bowl. I could do this with you know what, I may do it with paint. I normally do it with a little paint because I think this gum paste is acting a little cheeky, but let me get my piping tip because that's what I normally use to make a little gleam is a piping tip. So I am going to get a piping tip. It's a very small one. Oh. And I'm just going to use that to cut my little white part. And then I might add another little sparkle further at the bottom, but I'll do that with paint. So let's see. We're gonna put it right here. We'll put one there. This might be a little bit bigger than I like, but let's see. And then we could put one. Let's see, I think I want to move this one. I actually think this might be a little too big, so I'm going to cut this one. And I'm going to use this. Let's cut it. That was a little big. So I cut it. Let's see. Let's just see. All right, let's see where we're going to put the other one. And I guess we could do his ears next too. That'll help as well. Because I want him to look like somebody before I get off. All right, let's give him some cheeks. Because his face looks a little weird. You know what? Let's do his ears first. Let's do some ears first. And then we'll do some cheeks. All right. So I'm going to cut his ears out. Let's give him some nice size ears. Let's see what these look like. Let's see if we like these. They could be a little bit bigger. Let's see how we feel about those. I like it. Now we are going to put a little pink inside of his ears. Let's put a little pink inside before we make them into what we want them to be. I'm going to move this back. And I'm not even going to cut these. I'm just going to roll them into a ball. And I'm just going to put it right in the middle. Like that. Roll it into a ball. I probably need all of this. And put this right in the middle. And then we're gonna go in with our little thing that makes the fur. I am gonna curl this around a little bit. We're gonna curl this around that pink a little bit. And then we're gonna make our ear. Our pink might be a little big. Yeah, our pink might be a little big. Let's do it again. Let's make our pink a little bit smaller. That pink was a little bit big. All right, here we go. And I'm just rolling these now. I didn't even cut these out. This one got a little bit more than the other one. I'm glad y'all sticking around. I hope I'm not boring y'all. I'm just playing with some modeling chocolate. This isn't for anybody. This isn't for like a customer or anything. All right, so let's try this again. Oh, that's sticky. Let's try this again with a little more pink. Not as much as we had before.